Florida, a memory keeps coming back about us. I remember, Derek, your children learning how to drive. Do you remember that at Disney World?
Yes.
That was the greatest job any family man ever had. You guys remember that?
Amazing. It was just wonderful to be down there. It was a happy day for us. We go down there in August. It was in August, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the kids would
They
come
gave
down.
us each a car.
That's right.
Well, I was the Johnny-come-lately, remember? I mean,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
went down there with Hank Jones. I mean.
Yeah,
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
And,
You
well,
were the new guy.
actually, Milt started. You're the second newest guy, because it was Grady Tate, wasn't it?
Yeah, Grady Tate.
That's right. And then, for whatever reason, then I got involved. And my kids looked at me. My kids were, I don't know, about 10 or something like that, 10 and me 7. They looked at me as though I was God, that I could bring this kind of vacation for them. And they got all the tickets in
All
the
the
world.
tickets we could eat.
All
Yeah.
the tickets we could eat. And the people were just wonderful. We had a clientele that came in every night to hear us play, sit down in those big chairs in the living room, and we just played whatever we wanted to play. It was really a good
And I remember at the start of the gig, well, I learned this from Bobby. He said, well, here's what you do. You give this bartender $20 and you can have all the margaritas you want for the whole 2 weeks we're here.
And he did. That's right. We learned, we went back several, how many years did we do that?
Oh, at least 5 years.
At least
And then my
5.
wife looked at me and said, I'm not going to Florida again in August.
Dear.
I took my wife's sister, her husband down. My brother-in-law was a little guy that drinks a little too much. And she told me, don't let him get drunk, you know. So I brought him in there and sat at the bar, and I told the bartender, this is my brother-in-law. And we went up to start playing. And while we were playing, in about 15 minutes, this guy was talking so loud, you couldn't hear us play. And when I came
took
off,
care of him.
Bootsy, remember Bootsy?
Sure.
And when he came off the bandstand, he said, Milt, I want you to meet some friends of mine. He just got in town. What a beautiful
That was the guy we were playing, and I remember you leaning over to him and said, are we playing too loud?
Yes. You know, the interesting thing about that job always amazed me is that I don't think it could ever happen again. But there was this lovely room, well decorated and with good food and good booze and all that kind of stuff, good acoustics, with a wonderful piano, and we could hear each other play, and people really shut up and listened.
They listened. They came
And
sit
they
down.
came in every night, so you were dealing with friends. We were there for 2 weeks, I believe, wasn't it? 2
You
weeks?
still correspond with some of these people. I still
Yeah,
know
I
some.
saw Carl and
Carl,
Jane just recently.
I got a card
He's the
from
mayor
him.
of some one of the little towns around there.
He kissed me about being a gardener, you know. I'm up here in New York and it's freezing, and he wrote me a letter saying, my tomatoes are about 2 feet tall out here now.
He knows how to hurt you.
Well, I really remember learning from you guys on that job. I mean, we'd all worked an awful lot in New York in recording studios, but then I never said a word, just did the music and that was it. But I learned to speak because you guys never stopped speaking. And I
Yeah,
thought, "Geez,
well,
there's
that's
something to
Bobby's
learn
fault.
from
He
you."
always
Well,
starts at he got us all.
What do you mean by that nasty remark?
But that's
you
a
know,
good way to do it, you know.
The people were and are so nice that, and they would ask questions, and they'd all have requests, and then they would shush people who just walked in there and they would start talking to each other. They go, shh, music, you know. It was great. And they paid us.
Yeah, that's right. It was really a nice thing. And from there, we just went every place else, man. Everybody heard us, and everywhere we went. We were about the only group that I know that really organized together to play forever together, because we all go our own way. But we're the only group I know that can walk in any place and entertain for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. Haven't seen each other for 2 or 3 months.
I've said this to you guys before. I love playing with you guys because we don't have to practice. We don't have to think.
No.
You look, you know, Derek being the pianist, and of course he picks the tunes generally, and he'll look up and he'll say, "Love for Sale." And how many times have we played that? And every time we play it, it's fun again.
Yeah. But I don't know where we got that Closer Walk with Thee. That was really ours.
I think
I've never
somebody
played that
asked
with
somebody asked for gospel.
Somebody asked us for a gospel.
We just can't even make it up. I
You
don't
just made
understand.
it up right off the bat. You started it. And then we just
You were being funny, but you were great. You were great. That's fun.
Yeah.
It really worked. The people went crazy about it. And we used to walk on the bandstand without saying anything. He just started, what's that, Sweet Lorraine? Just started out, we knew exactly what it was.
And I knew I could have over a period of the evening. I know I could have, if I measured it carefully, my 3 margaritas.
Yeah.
If I didn't drink them fast, I didn't have to drive anywhere, you know.
Yeah,
and I'd just sit up there and
the
smile, and little X's came for eyes, you know.
I remember one thing about that. It was one of the early years I was there, and Saturday we worked late. The other times we were finished by 1, but Saturday we worked till 1 or something. And then trying to stagger back after all those margaritas to my beautiful villa there. And I saw these guys that looked like they'd stepped out of a UFO. They looked like from Mars, these guys, all completely covered. They looked like spacesuits. And they were going around methodically killing all those lovely little frogs.
Oh, yeah.
Every insect in the place.
That.
Oh, yeah.
You stayed out later night.
I couldn't believe it. I stopped and looked at these guys. And then after that, there were no more frogs.
Was it? But I remember my wife was a teetotaler. She was always watching me about drinking, and I'd have a drink at every table in the bar, in the place.
And he kept saying, he said, I've only had 1 glass. That's true at a time.
1 glass at each table.
It was.
We had a wonderful time down there. It was some kind of beautiful place to work. And it's like forever with us. We just go around places and everybody knows us from that trio thing, besides knowing us individually from what we've always done.
And was that apocryphal, or did we really invent that story, or did it happen? That one day we were there and I think the boss of the village, we were in Walt Disney World, the boss came in and said,
Yes!
How come you don't play any Walt Disney songs?
Right.
And we looked at each other and said,
You came out of it.
You were the one.
That's right.
I don't know. And so we put our heads together and we came up with this,
That's right.
which we called the Photographer's Song after
That's
that.
right.
Why did we call it the Photographer's
Oh,
Song?
I wouldn't touch that line.
Because it's someday my prince will come. So that really started from the boss coming
He
in
said
and
it,
saying,
folks, not me.
why not play some Walt Disney music? I didn't know Walt wrote any music.
Well,
He didn't have to.
This CD is an outcome of that, and it'll go on forever because we're going to keep doing it till we get it right.
I hope we never get it right. I like it this way.
It's beautiful.
This is a terrible thing to say, but I mean it lovingly. When I was growing up, I always wanted to play with Milt Hinton because he was a grown man at that point.
I was 23 then.
Well, I remember being very indebted to both you guys. And I remember it like it was yesterday, because I never forget those things. Once when I'd first come off the boat, I was accompanying Mel Torme around. And I don't know how I got that job, I was very lucky to get it. And we played at some place which is probably not there in Great Neck.
It's gone, it's not there anymore.
And you were
on Long Island.
sitting there having a nice dinner or something.
Yeah, because I'd known Mel since Chicago
well,
days.
he recognized you, so he'd come up and play, and that was the first time I met you.
Yeah.
And then Milt, for some reason, I can't remember the first time we met, but I remember being at home one Saturday afternoon, and those were when things were very busy, recording went on around the clock, and they got this message from Columbia. Milt Hinton says to come here right away. And I got in the car and drove to Columbia. I thought, what am I doing? And it was an album with the new Christy Minstrels.
Oh yes, I remember that.
I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I had to play the organ, which I'd never played in my
That's
life.
why you were there.
It's called Earn While You Learn.
That's why you were there, because you can read and play anything.
My motto is I've learned everything I know from fear and hunger. And boy, was I scared and was I hungry that day.
You fooled them.
That was a hit record. It was the old Cotton Fields of Home was a very big record.
Was that Mitch Miller?
No, I don't.
Well, he was. I know he was.
But Milt got me there, and I don't understand to this day who didn't show up or what it was.
We were some lucky guys. We had some tremendous experiences going through all that great recording era. We used to work around the clock, 2-3 record days a day, jam at night, get a little jam session or some gig on a Sunday.
Anyway, as I said before, and I'm sure you feel the same way, I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up. Judge, you're the...
I gotta get a job one of these days.
What's that song? I don't want to grow up. I don't ever want to grow up.
You're right.
Now all of our children have children.
I'd like to have me as a daddy.
That'd be pretty good.
I've told that to my kids, and they always say, "Oh no, you wouldn't." Now they've got children. It's their turn.
Gentlemen, there's been 90 mice.